Okay, so today's training, I don't really have a whole lot to share with you this week. I'm wanting this week to be a lot more of your guys' experience. I want to get feedback from you, ideas for how we can make classrooms fun, ideas for activities that we can do with these kids. And then just any experiences that you've had, whether you're concerned about them or they're just fun and you want to share them. We'll get into those as well. So today, like I said, I really want to hear from you guys and be able to have that conversation so that we can share information and share knowledge with everybody. So jumping into it, the first thing I want to talk about is one of my favorite things, and that's activities. What different activities can we do with the kids? What different things have you guys found fun? Just different things like that that you want to share. We will go ahead and just let everybody share their own experiences. So whoever wants to go first with activities that they have found to be fun when working with these kids, whether it's specific to an age group or you can do it in any age group. Okay, so for example, I do have a couple photos here. One of my favorite activities that some daycares do with their kids is the arts and crafts. This one, I personally don't mind making messes, so I don't mind doing them with the younger grades or younger ages. It is a lot more intensive with teacher to student interaction. Like you do have to pay a lot more attention with the younger kids, and you do have to kind of help them through some of the activities as well. Like they aren't going to necessarily know how to paint a rainbow, so you might draw it out for them and then they can like color in it, different things like that. But I love the activities again, no matter what age, whether it's paint or crayons. Sometimes daycares have specific activities that they do every day. Like I worked at a daycare where every single day we had a designated hour of art time with every single age group except for the infants. And it was kind of based off of the theme. So they were also learning along with them. So one week it was like, we're learning about fours. So they would paint a number 4 one week. We would do a math worksheet with the older kids where they like everything was addition to 4. Just different things like that. Sometimes it was like the letter R and you would come up with words that start with the letter R. You would paint out different things with R. So are there any other activities that you guys have, whether it's arts and crafts or playing outside, different things that you have found to be fun that we could share with the group?
New. So for those who don't recognize me, that's why. But I think a lot of the times when playing with kids and enjoying, I don't know, just seeing where their brain goes with things, I like getting creative. And with that, I like using magnets a lot. Um, Definitely not super small, like little balls and like those kind of magnets, but I just stuff that gets their brain moving. A lot of them build a lot of towers, big towers, and they can just take it down and make it whatever they want. So really like really creatively enriching, but also super fun, and you could just do anything with them.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Caleb. I had a kid in one of my daycares that the first thing he went to every single day was the magnets, the magnet blocks that we had, and he would build. He was a little possessive of them, but he absolutely loved those. So I love that that's something that you brought up. Caitlin said, most kids at any age really respond to music. I've used it to teach ASL through dance moves. I love that as well. Well, actually, I have a slide designated specifically to sharing songs because I can never find enough kid songs to dance with and introduce to these kids. So I love that you bring up the music because that is something that I don't think I've met a single kid who doesn't enjoy dancing and singing and doing the actions to different songs. Other activities or experiences that you've had? Dahlia says, I've had a past experience, puzzles being a good activity. Yes. Very similar to the magnets where it gets their brains engaged and they can build different things. But puzzles at every single age are really good things. The younger age, their puzzles typically look like the little blocks that you match to the right shape on a box and it goes in. But puzzles are another really good one. Other activities that we found to be fun. Hey, one of the other activities that I love, this one specifically is outside, but this one gets you really interacting with the kids, and it just helps build that confidence and trust level with the kids. But anything that's super active, so we would do tag, or if there's swings, like pushing each kid on the swing and they take turns. Anything that you can do with them is something that I really love outside, because again, it builds that just trust and especially since we're with them for such a short time period. So anything that gets you involved with them, you can see like the bubbles here. So if you don't necessarily want to get up and move around with them, but you still want to have that interaction doing bubbles or doing the songs outside so that they have more room to kind of jump and play around. Anything like that, I think, is really good for outside. Okay, so this one is from Gabrielle. She said, I found that with some of the older kids, she used to do 3 through 5th grade, they love doing collages to understand broader topics on deeper levels. Yeah, so kind of one of those things that we did when we were going over the topics in our art activities. We would just rip up a ton of different colored paper with the kids, and then they could glue them in the shapes, you know, so like in the number 5 or in the butterfly, anything like that. That just ripping paper is always fun, no matter how old you are. And then it also kind of helps with that building of broader understanding and topics. So I loved that. Any other before we move on to the next slide? Okay. If you do have more that you want to talk about later, I want this to be super interactive so we can jump back and forth between different things. That is not a problem at all. But the next topic that I wanted to go over is songs specifically. So what are some songs that you guys have heard of or found that you love to share with these kids? I can go first to kind of get the brain juices flowing. So on here, I've got Baby Shark, Wheels on the Bus, and then Humpty Dumpty. So your kind of your more classic nursery rhymes typically are good. But Baby Shark, I found no matter what age the kids are, they always love to do the actions of going from the little mini baby sharks to the bigger sharks and the grandma and grandpas. This one is fun because you can find a lot of different versions where some they run away from the shark, some they have to swim and then they swim faster and faster and faster. They can be shorter or longer, but this one, it's a really fun interactive one that also gets them some of their wiggles out as well. So that's one of them that I love when it's with these younger and older kids. Yes, so Linda said the going on a bear hunt, the tootie tat, and then the monkeys and the alligators, like the 5 monkeys that swing in the tree, and the alligator comes and snatches them out one by one. All 3 of those I love. The tootie tat I had totally forgotten about until I watched a Facebook video of this little girl that like goes crazy above and beyond with it, and it's so fun to watch. And then this one, Caitlin says, I haven't actually heard of this one, but it's Magic Words by Rachel Coleman. I'll have to look that one up. Again, that's mostly why I'm doing this. I want the brain shares I love. Any other songs that you guys have found? Button Factory. I haven't heard that one either. Caitlin, I think you're gonna have to just send me a list of all your songs. Some other ideas for songs that I hadn't even thought about until I worked at a daycare about 2 years ago. Pete the Cat, if you look up their YouTube storybooks, they do a mix of storybook and songs typically. So they've got their buttons that he keeps losing and he has to find them, or there's his new shoes that he ends up stepping in different things that turn his shoes different colors, and there's different songs that go along with each one that you read a part of the book and then you sing the song and then you read another part and then you sing the song again. Gabrielle said that she loves using amaze.com to find new songs that talk about a variety of topics. I will have to look that up. I've never even heard of that website. But other songs that I have found, you've got the Goldfish song, where the goldfish is sleeping on the bottom of the ocean, and then it wakes up and does an activity and then it falls back asleep, and then it wakes up and does another activity and then it falls back asleep. And that one's a very action centered one where you brush your teeth with the fish and you ride the bicycle. So those are all really fun ideas. Anybody else have any other songs before we move on to just some of your guys' experiences? Okay. Again, if you think of different activities or songs as we keep going, please feel free to either interrupt or just send them through the chat and I will read those. But this one, I really want to hear your experiences, what you have found to be effective in classrooms, whether that is handling keeping kids entertained, or things that you have found to be helpful when it comes to handling conflict with kids, different ways that you found to be interactive with kids that have helped you to understand and get to know them, just different tips, tricks, experiences that you guys have. I would love to hear those as well. I'll share one again while you guys are thinking. One of the things that I found to be a struggle, specifically in the younger ages, and then also with your kids that have some special needs, transitions typically can be really, really difficult. Whether that's transitioning to something that they normally like going outside, or going to, some daycares have a specific like gym where they can play with, it's a more wide open area so they can run around and do more things like you can outside, but you can't necessarily do in a classroom. But I found that transitions can be really hard because typically with transitions, it's cleaning up or leaving a toy that you really like, even if it's to go someplace else that you really like. So one of the things that I've really found that has helped with that is the warnings. So you'll say in 5 minutes, we're going to clean up and then we're going to go outside. Or in 3 minutes, we're going to clean up and then get our jackets on. So they're preparing for that next thing. And they also know that it's not, we're ending it right now. It's, you've got a little bit more time and then we're going to do something else. And then I've also found that doing the transition with them. So if you're transitioning to cleaning up, getting down and helping them clean up too, not just making them do all of the cleanup by themselves, which can seem a little not fun because they are the ones that got all the toys out. But I think that when the kids see you doing something, they're actually a lot more willing to jump in and help. And it makes it a little bit more like a game for them if the adult or the teacher is doing it. So those are just a couple of things that I found with transitions, so that they are a little bit more prepared. Something else that I've heard that I haven't actually been able to try yet is making the transition itself fun. So we're going to skip inside, or we're going to race inside, or let's do a race to see who can get their jackets on the fastest. Different things like that that can make the transition itself a game too, can help distract from the transition itself being hard. But other thoughts, experiences, tips, tricks? Oliver says, I've never gone wrong with books. You can read to a group or one-on-one experiences. It works with any age, and there is a children's book about any behavior and any subject. I also love that one. I think sometimes when the kids get a little bit on the hungrier side, and it's not quite yet ready for lunch, doing the songs or reading a book to everyone, the kids always love that. And you're right, there are so many different subjects and topics. There's some for the little ages where it goes over colors and animals, and there's a book that's like your 100 first words, where it just has on every page 5 objects and then just the singular word for what that object is. So I love the book idea. Other thoughts? Okay. So I'm going to move on to this last slide. But again, if you have anything that you think of, pop up, let's do it. This one, I want to just let you guys ask me about anything. I have worked in daycares for close to 10 years now. So if you have any questions that you think you would like to have answered about how to make classrooms fun, or if you have any questions or concerns about just daycares in general, the experience working with other teachers, the floor is open to any and all of those. Okay, so this one is from Gabrielle, and it's not a question, but it's going back to the website, theamaze.com. And she says that she's mainly had most of her experiences within the sex education. So that's mostly what's on amaze.org, not .com. But they do have some on emotions, friends, family, body parts that could be used with younger kids. And I love that. You do have to be careful with the daycares. Some of them, the parents are uncomfortable with you talking about some of those things. But I do think that personally, I think that going over like the emotions, your friends, family, different experiences, those are all really good. And then knowledge about body parts, I also say they typically are okay with. But yeah, so you have to be a little bit careful with what you get into on that with these young kids in a daycare setting. But I do think that it is important knowledge for them to have. So that is a really awesome resource, and I will definitely look into that one. Other questions, comments, concerns? I'll give it another minute just in case somebody's typing one in.